Who is your fellow servant? That's the question I want to ask you today.
Let there be light. Let there be light.
So if you're going to ask yourself who your fellow servant is, you have to first ask yourself, who are you serving first? If you don't know who you're serving first, you won't be able to identify who your fellow servants are, right? Only makes sense. Now put yourself in the past. To my Christian audience, I want you to look and put yourself in the times of Peter, James, John, and you're walking with, Jesus. Who are you serving? That's the question I want to try to get out, and this is the point that I want to try to convey to the audience. There is a piece to the puzzle. There is something being revealed in the book of Revelation, as it would seemly fit, in chapters 19 and 21. When John the Revelator is falling down at the feet of the angel to worship this angel, what does the angel respond with? Take a look.
And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Jesus. Worship God, for the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. Then saith he unto me, See thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book. Worship God.
So, did you catch those things that were just shown and trying to be revealed in this book? This book, Revelation, the Orthodox Jewish community and many alike do not really accept much of the New Testament. A lot of Christian sects love the book of Revelation because they like to see things that are revealed. What I'm trying to do is show you exactly what is trying to be conveyed in this message right here, hidden in plain sight. And if we're going to understand what's being shown here, we have to take a look at what specifically was said by this angel to John the Revelator. First of all, you have to look and see that the angel said not to worship him, but rather to worship God. So we're not supposed to worship anything other than the God of Israel. And if we're not worshiping the God of Israel, then we are not serving the God of Israel. And notice what the angel said. The angel said, I am thy fellow servant. So if the angel is serving God and you are serving God, then all those that do the same are your fellow servants. And also, if you take a look, you'll see that this angel said that he had the testimony of Jesus and of the testimony of the prophets. And let's see what all these things have in common. They all kept the covenant. They all served the God of Israel in one accord. So I want you to put yourself in the time of the disciples. These people were disciples. They were observant Jews. And you hear it a lot of times. And what I'm trying to convey and trying to help my viewers in this message is trying to put you on the path of realization of who are you supposed to serve. Because if the answer is Jesus, you're not the fellow servant I'm looking for, because Jesus served his Father. Many a times he would say, the Father seeks those that worship him in truth and spirit. God is not a man. God is a spirit. A spirit hath not flesh and bones, by Jesus' own admission. These things are hidden in plain sight for those that are really seeking to find the principles shown. Jesus was a servant, and if you look at John chapter 13, you'll see something very strange happening. Jesus is going to wash the feet of Peter and his other disciples. Many will often see the point that Jesus is making is that a servant is not above his master, neither the master above his servant, but everyone that is like the master shall be the greatest servant. And so he starts to wash the feet of Peter. And Peter doesn't understand what's going on, in so much that Jesus says, right now you don't understand what's being done, but hereafter you will understand. So what's going on in this passage in John chapter 13? He's washing the feet of his disciples. But there's something hidden being shown here. Jesus is trying to show that he is a fellow servant of the disciples. But who are they serving? Jesus, again, like I said, is always serving his Father. He came to show others how to do so. So take a look at where this reference is being taken from in the prophet Isaiah chapter 52. Take a look.
Therefore my people shall know my name. Therefore they shall know in that day that I am he that doth speak. Behold, it is I. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace, and bringeth good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation, that saith unto Zion, Thy God reigneth.
So you can see here that the secret being shown and being presented here has its roots here in this passage of Isaiah. That Jesus, the fellow servant of Peter, all those that are servants of the Most High, and those that are serving the God of Israel, Jesus is using this illusion to wash the feet of Peter and say that right now you don't understand what I'm doing, but hereafter you will, because it's your job to go and publish unto Zion and say, thy God reigneth, just as Jesus was trying to say, although in parabolic ways and cryptic messages. So then what exactly is Jesus saying to Peter by saying, if I don't wash your feet, me and you have nothing to do with each other? It all has its basis from Isaiah chapter 52. What he's saying is, if you're not going to wash your feet and proclaim to the world, thy God reigneth, you and I, Peter, don't serve the same God. Therefore, you and I have nothing to do with each other. Does this make sense? Because Peter and Jesus are fellow servants in the fact that they serve the same God. That's what he's trying to proclaim. And this is hidden in plain sight. And this is the point I want to try to get to the audience, is that we have to make a choice. Are we either with him, theoretically, in the fact that we are united and we serve the same God? Because he did serve a God. He did serve a God, a higher power. He is not the Most High, as many Christian theologists would like to proclaim. This is the point of consciousness I'm trying to get to. This is the state of knowledge I'm trying to make aware to the general public at the church. He himself made the statement that said, he that is not with me is against me. And what does he mean by that? It's the same point he's trying to proclaim here by the washing of the feet of the disciples, saying that if you are not with me on this covenant and you are not worshiping the same God I worship, then you're not with me, you're against me. So as you look further in John chapter 13, you'll see that not everybody's feet was clean. Take a look.
He that is washed need not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit, and ye are clean, but not all. For he knew who should betray him, therefore said he, ye are not all clean.
And this is where we start to see the allusion to Judas Iscariot. What people do not understand in Christian circles is how and what Judas betrayed. If you look at the book of the Maccabees, as I mentioned in other videos, you'll see that there was traitorous Jews that were going around that had no regard for the law, and that they would not keep those laws anymore. God is very clear in Deuteronomy chapter 29 that the person who begins the journey, that begins to be a servant of his and to keep his commandments and walk on this journey, if he were to hear the curses and the blessings that are associated with this covenant of joining the nation of Israel, and that's what it is a nation of Israel, not a religion. It is a people bonded by the fact that there is a covenant given by the Most High, the creator of the universe, that he would present a peculiar people unto himself and gather them, the fewest of all the people, that he would have a people that would worship him in truth and in spirit. And he seeks those to worship him, just as Jesus was trying to teach to the people. So why was Judas's feet not clean? Because he had determined that he would not finish the race. This is the true betrayal. If I was an American citizen and I turned my back on my fellow citizens and joined another nation that had totally different laws opposed to those of Americans, you would say that that Marine that came against me would be just because he is defending America, all enemies, foreign and domestic. And this is what Judas became. And this is why you see the illusion that the curse was being reversed and he went out and hung himself. Because if you look at Deuteronomy 29, you'll see that God says the person that starts this journey and says, I shall walk in the imagination of my own heart, after he's heard everything that has to do with this covenant, it's better that he had never been born. It's better that that man had never started this journey than he had begun and then never finished and turned away, because you are betraying your fellow countrymen. And this illusion has been lost, but the point I'm trying to make here today is that you have to figure out for yourself who you're serving. You can't serve two masters. To my Christian audience, this channel really is something to try to help you and see this point that you can't worship and you cannot serve Jesus and the God of Israel. One of them has to be taken precedence. And if you want to be someone that says what this angel says, and that is someone that has the testimony of the prophets, that has the testimony of Jesus, then you're going to have to take on that covenant and turn your eyes away from man that has an infallible image and turn to the one that has no image that he gave us on Mount Sinai and worship him in truth and spirit in keeping his covenant. That's the point I want to make today, because if you want to be a fellow servant, you're going to have to find those that serve the same God that you do and serve him the right way. So ask yourself, are you a fellow servant of Jesus? Are you a fellow servant of the angels? Or Are you a betrayer? Are you a traitor like Judas? Are you someone that had never been born yet? Because to be born again means that you have turned from the physical. Maybe you look at your parents, someone you would serve as a son would his father. Now you have turned to the Most High and said, I will be a son of the Most High, and start to serve him. That's what this is about. Are you a prodigal son that has gone away and wasted everything? But in the end, he says, I've come home and I'm no longer worthy to be your son. Make me one of your hired servants. This is what he's looking for. And everybody has this choice to make, but not everybody is aware that what they're doing is serving the wrong thing. And as time approaches and we start to get into a higher range of consciousness and these things start to become more readily available to the public, everybody's going to have a choice. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to make that choice. But the sooner you do it, the sooner along you'll have a chance to draw nigh unto the God of Israel. So I hope this video is a help, and I hope this has opened your eyes to see that if you're going to be a fellow servant, if you're going to walk the walk, you have to do it the right way. And you have to turn your eyes away from that which is man and turn to the one who said, on the day that you saw me on Mount Sinai, you saw no form, no similitude. You only heard words. Because the only way that we can know the God of Israel is by his words. If we start putting a form to it and an image attached to that image, we're doing it wrong. So again, I hope this video was a help, and I'll see you again on another video.
Let there be light.